All right. Today we are in the second episode of Escape Velocity, and our podcast is geared towards helping people achieve financial independence. Why did we come up with the name Escape Velocity, right? Usually, when an aircraft wants to take off, you need to hit a certain level of velocity for it to be able to fly in the sky, right? So that's where we came up with the concept of escape velocity. Everybody needs a certain level of financial accumulation to be able to escape the constraints of a financial pool. So that's why we are trying to bring people that are walking the talk, people that are in the journey or have achieved that velocity and are able to escape or able to live freely, achieve the concept of financial independence. So that's why we started this podcast. Today we have in our midst Mr. Douglas Eze. He's a man that I respect so much, a man that I honor. Always follow his Instagram, Facebook, and trying to keep up with him with what he has going on. He's a man that the voice of America has acknowledged as he's climbing the top 1% of the American society. And I know he has, there's a wise saying that says success always leaves clues, right? And I'm sure he has so many things that he has practiced over the years that he can share with us today. And that's why he's here. So he's been gracious enough. I mean, this is a man you have to spend hundreds of dollars to get into his calendar. And now he's sharing his wisdom with us today. And towards the end of the section, so we're going to have opportunities to ask him questions. He's going to answer some of our questions, but he only has but 1 hour today, right? So we want to make sure that we get started as soon as possible. So, sir, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for making out your time and availing your time to talk to us today. If you can please just help us introduce yourself, we'll start from there.
Definitely, man. This is awesome. Congrats. I like what you're doing. And I remember you asking me about this, and I said, yeah, why not? It's always good to give back. And just to kind of give people a quick background, I'm from Nigeria, West Africa, Enugu, but I grew up in Lagos and went to school in Nigeria until I was 18, and then I left. And left Nigeria high school. Right after high school, I decided to roll because one of the main reasons was I saw my brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest of four. I saw them go to college, university, and all of a sudden the school would go on strike, and the professors would be out. I'm like, man, this isn't the journey I want. So I kind of figured a way to get out of the country, and I left. I went to Canada first and lived in Canada for a little bit, but I really wanted to come to America because I believe America is the place, that the Black Americans have fought for the freedom for us to be able to, do what we do, and they're still fighting every day. We're fighting with them now too while we're here, So I decided to come here and cross the border, figure out a way to come into America, and I was 23 when I got in. I was waiting table at IHOP at 24, and somebody introduced me to the financial service business, the insurance business. And when I got into this industry, I got my licenses. There's more of those stories online, but I got the license to be an insurance agent. And then later on, I went ahead and got all my securities license to be able to sell mutual funds and stocks and all those things. But as I continued that journey and just working with people, different families, I started realizing, you know what, there's something going on in this situation. I need to just stop for a minute and figure out what are the wealthy families doing that is different from everyone else. Why is it that the wealthy in America keep wealth forever? And why is it that the wealthy families in Africa, Nigeria, where I came from, how come the wealth don't last forever? And the first generation makes it, then the second generation kind of holds it for a little bit, then the third generation blows it all. So I'm like, why is that? But here in America, you have five generations still enjoying the wealth from years ago. People like the Walmart, the Hilton, the Disney World. Walt Disney, McDonald's, Ray Kroc, all these people. So I say, I'm just going to study wealthy people. I'm tired of just listening to what my manager is saying because, again, I'm Nigerian, I'm Igbo. I always tell people, you know what, I've been blessed to grow up in Lagos. So I have the Igbo brain and I have the Yoruba brain all together. So it's a crazy dynamic.
Right.
So, we don't just sit around and wait for things to happen. We create our own situation.
Sure.
So I studied that and I went to work and just started studying wealthy people. So that's how I wrote the book called Creating Generational Wealth, what the super wealthy know that you need to know.
Great story, great recap. I know, I read your book, and I know you have another one coming up, so we're gonna talk about that in the upcoming session. But how did you know that finance was the right field for you? How did you come to that conviction that this is the right field for you?
Man, I did not know, and nothing about finance. I mean, come on, with a high school diploma, waiting table at IHOP, finance wasn't in my rear view mirror, it wasn't in my front view mirror, it wasn't nowhere, but when somebody gave me a card, the lady came up and she handed me a business card and said she's in the financial service business, she would like for me to come, interview with her. I got excited. At first I was like, hey, this is exciting, let me go check it out. And I went, I checked that, and I saw all these folks in the room that were making money. This was in '96. I saw, first when I got to the parking lot, I saw BMWs, Mercedes Benzes, Porsches. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And I realized quickly. I said, okay. Then I got in the room and I saw Black people, Black Americans, talking about finance and money. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I found something. And I sat down with the lady and she said, yes, you should get your license. You could make six-figure income. I'm like, well, whatever income it is, where I could wear a suit. I'm not waiting till IHOP. Sign me up. I don't have to worry about the police looking for me. I see all of you, you're sitting down comfortably. I said, do I need to have college degree? She said, no, just, when I give you the card, I mean, you're waiting table IHOP. I just want somebody that has a heart to win, that's hungry. I said, man, listen, I'm hungry.
Hmm.
She said, okay, well, the first thing you need to do is get me a list of 25 names of people that you know, family and friends. But yeah, so, I jumped in. I said, okay. She said, well, that's the only way we could get started. I said, okay, let me. So I was looking around the office and I found a survey, and that survey was about college education plans for kids. And because this is a financial service company, they talk about college planning, they talk about retirement planning, they talk about, saving money for the future. So this particular flyer caught my eyes, and I read the survey. It just had a bunch of questions. I'm like, wait a minute, parents love their children, especially when they're babies, until they turn 18 years old. It's
Hmm.
different when they start talking back to you. It's a different ball game. I said, wait, let me use this and go prospecting. And I went and made more copies of that survey, and I hit the metro. For those of you that know, metro, is a train station, because America, there's train lines and stuff. So I hit the train line from one end to the other, getting people to fill out surveys about college education plan for their kids. And people fill it out. They put their name, their phone number, how many children they have, and then they also, the survey, one thing I liked about it, also had a commitment. They committed to spending a certain amount of dollar every day, which is, if you could put away anywhere from $1 to $5 a day towards your child's college, would that be a conversation you want to have? They say yes. They check the box. So that's a commitment that they're ready to buy something. So I took all that back. I got about 1,000 surveys, and I took it back to the lady and I showed it to her. She was blown away. She was like, what? Where did you get this?
Hmm.
I said, well, I rode the metro and I got all these people that gave me the information, and she said, all right, let's set up a time and start calling the people. So we got on the phone and we started making calls and we set appointments, and everybody remembered me because, again, I told them I'm going to call them and reach out to them. That's why they gave their number. Okay, cool. So I went. She said, "Go get your license to be an insurance agent, and once you get your license, I'll give you $1,000." And she kept it. She made the check out to my name, and I went straight and got my licenses. And came back, passed my test the first time. Because when you're hungry, man, there's no excuse. If you want something bad enough, you're gonna go get it.
True.
So I that was my first exam in America. I went and took it and knocked it out the first time. People take the same exam, fail it 3, 4 times. No, I wasn't failing that exam.
Hmm.
So I passed it the first time, and she gave me my check for $1,000. I got licensed, and then I went on more appointments. We had a lot of leads, so I went on more appointments with her just to kind of watch and see how she deals with the people, how she talks to them, how she deals with objections and stuff like that. And we split the sales 50-50. And all I did was just keep quiet and learn and observe and watch what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, after that, I went to work. I started doing it myself. I didn't need anyone to go with me anymore. And the rest is history, man.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So I'm gonna ask. In your book, you had mentioned something about somebody being wealthy and the other riches, right? So I want to understand what is the difference in your own word. How would you differentiate between a rich person and a wealthy person?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people that are rich, especially today. People are getting money on social media. The world is so small now. There's people, I wrote another book called, multi-generational, getting money, different currencies. It's coming up next year. Because today social media and the world, there's so many opportunities to make money, and a lot of people are making money today. A whole lot of folks are getting paid, but again, it's not about how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And then there's the folks that have figured it out, that know how to keep the wealth
Right.
and transfer it from one generation to the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's wealth.
Right.
So you could be rich today. There's people that win the lottery and they get rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they blow it, just because you could inherit money and you blow it, so that's rich. But wealth is money that never stops coming in, that goes on forevermore.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for you to eat it today, it's for you to continue eating even when you're dead and gone. Your family continues to eat. And if you come back again, you might tap in and get lucky and get born back into the same family.
I wish things like that happen, right? And somebody once defined wealth as defined riches as having a lot of money, right? And also said that wealth is when you have time to enjoy that money, so that's in addition to your definition, it makes a whole lot of sense, being able to have a framework that you could transfer the wealth to your generation. And that's what your whole book was all about, right? So you mentioned in your book about wealth legacy. What is your wealth legacy, Mr. Douglas Eze?
Yeah, my wealth legacy is basically leaving money and assets and education for my children's children, right? And making sure also creating a roadmap where if one of my kids or my grandkids or whoever it is, or my great grandchildren ever step in a room and they run into someone, because most people don't realize your name is everything. That's all you got,
Right.
right? And whatever you create with your name is what it's going to be. You could create a negative situation or a positive situation. So my whole legacy in life is this. I want, when my children walk in a room and they give my name, somebody would say, "Man, I remember your father, and he helped so and so person, and I opened the door for you." You
Right.
see, that's legacy right there forever. It doesn't matter how much money you make. There's a lot of people that make money and they have terrible situations, because they've ripped people off, they've stolen from people, they've messed up people, their ego runs in the way,
Mm-hmm.
and they come in and nobody wants to do anything, and then the children suffer in with that result.
That's great. That's great. I'm happy you are building that up for your children. I know that our parents did the best they can, right, to give us the lifestyle that we have. But somebody once
Right.
said that if poverty was passed down through your generation, you don't have to pass it down to your kids, right? That poverty stops with you, right? You have the obligation to make sure that the family that comes after you, at least they are wealthy, they have a lot of assets to live off of. So that's great. So talking about the history of United States, we do know that our history as blacks, right? With the whole slavery and everything. And in your book, you mentioned something about the wealth gap between a certain race and then the black race and some other race that are represented here in America. So from your analysis and being in the financial industry, what do you think, or why do you think there is a wealth gap between maybe the blacks and the whites?
Yeah, basically, here's my take because I've been blessed to work with all kinds of culture, everyone. I work with white people, I work with black people, I work with Jewish, Asians. They, I have clients in all aspects. And one thing I quickly realized is, man, we all get the same information. Some white folks don't know as much as we know. We actually, some of us black people know more than the white folks, especially when it comes to finance, right? But the problem is this, a lot of us don't apply the knowledge, right? A lot of folks, like today, for example, I share so much content on social media, YouTube, different places. I get people meet me, out when I'm out, they see me, they come, hey man, I've been watching, I'm inspired by your videos, la la la. They give me all this stuff. The question I ask them, and I ask people this question, I say, so have you taken action? They're like, we don't take action, and then we expect things to happen. No, it's not going to happen if you don't take action. You could get all the knowledge you want. Everybody gets the knowledge. But at the end of the day, are you applying the knowledge that you have? That's the difference. That's what separates us from everyone else. We all have the same information. Real estate, we have black people investing in real estate. Investments, we have black people investing in investment, buying businesses, owning businesses. The question is, are you taking advantage? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to do? The information is the same. The money, one thing about money, it don't care who hands it's on, right? I have a video out now on social media that I said, you know what, at the end of the day, your money shows up before you. See, people invite me to speak, pay for me to talk to them, come to fly me out, not just because Douglas Eze, right? The high school diploma. That's not why. They call me because money, right? Because they see my money before they see me. And so when I show up, the money's already talked for me and say, listen, I'm bringing Douglas. So when I come out, they're like, okay, yes, we want to talk to him. So, when I pull up anywhere in my Rolls Royce, I mean, that's what they say. I kind of sit in the car first, close the window before they open the door. So when I come out, they're wondering, who's that?
Yeah.
See, nobody ever asked me any question after that. So the key is it's your duty to get the money, get paid, get your family set up. Because at the end of the day, when we all look at it, doesn't matter. Even Jesus Christ came, he said, listen, at the end of the day, he came into the world. Everybody knew he came according to the Bible, right? Everyone knew. All the kings knew Jesus arrived. John the Baptist, when John the Baptist was born, nobody knew he came into the world. So there's a difference, Jesus was
I hear you, sir. So basically, you make a statement, right? So that's great. And about utilizing the information that is available out there. Why do you think the blacks? Why do you think we are skeptical about some of the financial products that are out there? From your, being in the industry for some time, what can you pinpoint?
Yeah, so one thing about life is this. There's three ways we learn. Three ways that you're gonna learn anything. There's the first thing is knowledge passed on based on the books we read, right? I want to learn about if I say, okay, like for example, I've never been to Ethiopia before, and I want to learn about their culture, about the music, about the food. I could go to the library, pick up a book, and read about their culture, their food, their music. That's one way I could learn, reading a book. The second way I could learn, I could get on a plane and fly to Ethiopia, spend a day, month, year, 2 years, whatever, to learn the culture, learn the food. That means learning it by my own experience. The third and the other way to learn is by me meeting somebody from Ethiopia and spending time with them, and they share their knowledge. That means that person is passing knowledge to me based on what he knows. So those are the three ways we learn in life. So it's up to a person to take advantage of the knowledge. See, you can't be in the same circle. If you're in the same circle of friends that you're not growing, man, it's time for find a new circle. See, my friends, I want friends that I'm gonna learn from, and they'll learn from me. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I want to be the person that, listen, I want to learn. If you're not sharing, because at the end of the day, we all of us human beings, right? We want to be wealthy.
Right.
Everybody in this call, there's a reason you're on the call. You want to be wealthy. Nobody wants to be broke. I don't think anybody's life goal is to wake up and I want to be broke forever. Yeah. No, nobody ever comes up to say that. You want to, and wealthy could mean anything to you. It could be just you you know, enjoying your lifestyle without having to worry about debt,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the key question is, are you taking advantage of the information you're getting? And make sure you take advantage of the right information, because not everybody that's giving information, because again, today with social media, there's a lot of course, fake information out there and people who have been hurt, because a lot of us as human beings, we our emotion is what gets us to invest in things, and we invest and we make the wrong mistakes by investing in the wrong things, because greed comes in the way. We want to get rich quick. There's no such thing. I mean, this is 25 years in the making. It didn't just start yesterday. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to be patient. Everything is about patience and taking your time to grow and learn and increase, get a bigger box. If just because you are not familiar with something
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it's not working, right? Find somebody that is working with, especially if somebody that's transparent, able to show you step by step what it is that they're doing to
Mm-hmm.
grow. And you could see it in their life, not just somebody that just took a bunch of videos and pictures on Facebook and all of a sudden they don't have any history or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people I follow, I go and I look at their page on YouTube. Man, they've been dropping knowledge years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the consistency, some people see Tony Robbins today and they're like, man, he's so wealthy. Man, go look at his videos from tapes and tapes and tapes. This guy's been doing pushing for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
right? He didn't just start one day. When you look at Amazon today, Jeff Bezos, I mean, he didn't start yesterday. He was broke the first 10 years in the business. So he didn't just become a billionaire, the richest guy in the world, just all of a sudden. But yet we want to start today and get to destination tomorrow. It don't work that way. Even God will be laughing like, "Are you okay?" Like, man, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. Thank you for that motivation right there. So Robert Kiyosaki, the famous author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said something about the kind of the mental framework that poor people and rich people kind of have. That poor people, they work for money, they work to accumulate more money and more money, right? But the rich are work to accumulate assets, income producing assets, right? Assets that are cash flowing. What is your take on that? And I want to quickly segue into some financial vehicles that people can use to create generational wealth. So, what is your take on how the rich work to acquire assets?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing we know, right? And the Bible tells us this too. It says the poor is always going to be amongst us,
Hmm.
right? There's some people that everybody cannot be. It's hard to say, but they can. Everybody's not going to be rich. It just is the bottom line.
Right.
Everybody's not going to be, because if everyone is rich, who's going to be waiting table at a restaurant, right? Who's going to be washing your car for you? Who's going to be serving? Everybody can be rich,
Mm-hmm.
but here it just doesn't have to be you to be poor,
I like that.
right?
I like that.
It don't have to be you. You could change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you could buy asset, but it's all about patience. So my take is this: I always believe this. First, you need to understand the money mindset. You gotta understand this. You gotta have the right money mindset, because to build wealth, you have to be disciplined. I remember when I left Nigeria at age 18, the first thing, I said to God, I said, man, I want to be a millionaire when I'm 24 years old. And now I say it, and I said it with a lot of conviction. And guess what? God heard me. But did he make me a millionaire at 24? No. But he heard me. He started making sure he builds whatever it is I need to do to get to the destination. So at 24, he introduced me to the lady that gave me a business card.
Hmm.
Now it's up to me again. I needed to see it, and I went and I saw the opportunity, and I said, okay, if they can do it, I can do it too. And I just went to work and I continued. It wasn't easy. I promise you it wasn't, because I slept in my car. The woman didn't even know I was sleeping in my car. My car was my house for a while.
Hmm.
I've shared that story before. But at the end of the day, I'm I'm at that destination now. I want more. So here's the deal. You know, I say first, I'm a big believer, because here's the deal, right? Money is like water. See, so this cup right now, if there's water in it, the water in this cup will be like, Douglas, you need to drink me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You need to do something with me. Drink me, use me to clean the house, do something. If I ignore this water and I put it down, guess what it starts doing? It starts evaporating.
Hmm.
After months and years, this cup will be empty.
Wow.
If there's holes in this cup and I don't know there's holes in it, I keep pouring water in it, it's going to drain out very fast.
Hmm.
Same thing with money. Money is this: either you're spending money or saving money.
Okay.
When you make money and you don't do anything with it, it's going to go to somebody else that wants it. It's going to move. It moves. It doesn't sit around and do nothing.
Hmm.
So my situation is this: I want my money to be making money while it's either sitting, but it's growing. It's making money, babies.
Hmm.
If I'm spending money, I need to spend it in a way where I'm going to also pay myself back. So I had to discipline myself and teach myself how to do that. This wasn't something that they taught me in the financial class, because they ain't going to teach you that. This is not something that my manager taught me, because he didn't know. Because most people, at one time, I realized quickly in this industry, when I got into the finance industry, I realized quickly everyone's getting the information from the media. And I'm like, okay, the media, the government, and the banks, all three of them are very, very interested in your money. They use other people's money. The government don't print money, especially the US government. I don't know about other countries, but the US government do not print money. They do what? They use other people's money in called taxes. Every dollar a person earns in America, you pay 40% of that dollar goes to taxes. And then the banks don't print money. The government and the banks are like this. They're like brothers and sisters. The banks don't print money. They use other people's money. So what I mean, interest rate, credit card interest, mortgage interest, student loan interest, financing the car interest. And then the media, the third family member of the government, the media, and the bank. The media is the one that brings everything together and makes sure that everyone is brainwashed. Because if they brainwash you, do nothing. So they continue to work together. All three of them work together to get your mindset away. A lot of people spend a lot of the time watching TV, and now they made it so easy that it's on your cell phone. Now you're more brainwashed because you spend money. Once your money is sitting, and all of a sudden you see a commercial, you spend the money. It's gone. So what I teach, especially, I'm doing a master class on the 17th, where I'm going to actually dive deep into mindset. I'm going to show some of the things that I do personally to keep my wealth coming in on a regular basis.
Right.
And I invest in a lot of where I get passive income, be it real estate, but I do real estate a different way. Most people don't even have a clue. There's so many ways to make money in real estate. I don't like being a landlord. I'm not interested in landlord chasing tenants around. Nobody ever tells you the headaches that happens with that. I don't want to do that. I like making money while I don't have to stress myself. I have a trucking company, I make money there. I have other businesses, a tracking device company, I make money there. So there's so many different ways, but my bread and butter, my foundation, which is what a lot of people don't have. What is your financial foundation? Mine is finance, insurance, investment, those things. That's my foundation. I understand this money game. That's my foundation. So no matter what happens with any other business that I'm doing, my foundation is always going to generate money. So you got to have a financial foundation first. You got to have a foundation first in whatever it is. If you're going to be a real estate investor, guess what? You need to know that stuff in and out. Eat, breathe, sleep it. If you have to work with someone first, that's the problem. So many people don't want to work with people. You want to do it by yourself. You want to take the risk by it. I don't like taking risks all by myself. I like sharing the risk with other people, because I rather lose 10% than lose 100%. Right. So most times we want to go do it ourselves, and then we get beat up. See, there's two ways you learn: personal experience and other people's experience.
True.
Personal experience is so hard, it's tough, you get beat down, but other people's experience. If I see somebody just cross the street and got killed by a car, I'm not walking past that same road. I go somewhere else. Now he got the personal experience and got killed. So why am I going to take myself over there? I just watch, like right now, people say come to Nigeria. I say I want to go to Nigeria. I want to go visit. But when I see all the stuff, I'm like, let me just wait. Let me wait first. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if this, government will get a handle on what's going on. You know, because you just never know.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. You mentioned something about foundations. And I usually, educate my community that you start from financial vehicles that have been well tested and tried over time, right? Before you move into the ones that are more, the riskier investments. So what is your foundation? I want to understand, what do you consider as your core vehicle to your financial independence?
That's a great question, man. So here's the deal, folks. This is the deal. And some of you are gonna, like me or not like me, but here's the deal. I don't like taking risks that's unnecessary. So one thing, the first thing I started doing in my business was help families and myself find money in places that I'm losing money unknowingly because I don't know I'm losing it, and unnecessarily I could fix it. So some areas that I identified pretty fast that folks are transferring their wealth away unknowingly or unnecessarily are the way they pay mortgages, the way they pay their taxes, the way they contribute to a qualified plan, the way they contribute to their children's college, and the way they make major capital purchase, like buying a car, going on vacation, and different things. So with that said, I decided, you know what, before I invest in a speculative product, what is a speculation? So here's the deal. If I asked you right now, Chukwuka, when is the best time to invest? What would you say?
Now is the best time.
Okay. Now, I think I asked the question the wrong way, but let me re-ask you the question because it is now. You're right. But if I asked you, when is the best time to buy stocks? What would you say?
To buy stocks when it's down,
Okay. When is the best time to buy real estate?
when the when I have great interest rate and the markets are favorable, the price is favorable.
So again, when it's low, right? When the market is down, you buy low and you sell high.
Right.
So when we say when it's down, the stock market when it's down, when do you know it's going to be down?
You can't really tell.
Exactly. So every business you do, every time, the first things first, I save my money first. I will never use my cash to buy stuff. Now, let me explain something. We came from Africa. We don't have credit in Africa, right? No credit. And we pay cash for a lot of that. So my parents paid cash for business, paid cash for properties and stuff like that. Coming to America, it was a different conversation. They said credit, you need credit, you need credit, you need credit. I'm like, credit. What does that mean? So I started studying the credit game and I started realizing quickly that, man, you know what? Let's play this game for a second. The government uses other people's money. That's credit. The banks use other people's money. That's credit. Why are we as individuals are not using other people's money? We make fun of Americans and British people and everybody that uses credit. We're like, man, you don't own your car. You pay, you owe somebody. So I quickly realized, man, credit is powerful. What do I mean by that? Well, let's talk about it. If I came to you, Chukwuka, right now, and said, Chukwuka, can you loan me money? I'm your friend, I'm your family, I'm your brother, sister, whatever. And I said, just loan me $2,000. Guess what you do? You say, sure. You want to pay your mortgage or whatever. I say, yes, please. I'm begging you. I need you. I'll pay you back in 6 months. I promise you. God is my witness. Africa, we like to praise God. God is my witness. I'll pay you back in 6 months. And you say, sure. You give me $2,000. 6 months comes. Now, zero interest. You didn't charge me $1. 6 months comes. And you call my phone, all of a sudden, I'm in the witness protection program. I don't answer my phone number. I don't talk to you. I don't do anything. And then we finally see each other 6 months later. And I beg you, I said, man, my life is tough, man. I can't pay you right now. Can I loan under $2,000? You will never give me the money, right? So I've shot my credibility with you. Same thing the banks do. That's why America says when you have great credit, man, the banks will give you money. So what I say is this, credit is queen, cash value insurance is king. Now, why do I use cash value insurance? Well, because I realized quickly, for every dollar you put at a bank, the bank takes your dollar. Because remember, banks don't print money. They take your dollar and they have an agreement with the government because that's their blood sister. They take their dollar, your dollar, and they loan it to 7 to 10 different people and charge different interest rates. Some people they charge 2%, some people they charge 5%, some 18, some based on the person's credit. And the bank make 40, 50, 70, 100% on your dollar. And then they come back and give you 0.25% interest rate. And you still got to pay taxes on that 0.25% interest rate. I'm like, wait a minute, that's crazy. So guess what? I started building my credit. And I started seeing that. And then I started stacking my cash up because I said, okay, I want to use my money twice, not just once. What do you mean by that, Douglas? Well, what I'm saying is, if I have a dollar, I want to be able to use my dollar the same time, just like the banks, 3 to 4 times before it leaves my hand. So I said, so how can I do that? I realized cash value life insurance, which is something that nobody ever talks about, has the best benefit ever. The banks use it, the wealthy families use it. Everyone uses it. Even companies use cash value life insurance. Banks have billions of dollars in life insurance. So I'm like, why are they doing that? Well, it's a tax shelter for wealthy families. Life insurance has been around forever. And the American system understood what life insurance can do. The benefit of it is tax deferred. You don't pay no taxes on the gain. Remember, I just said, if I make $1 in a bank, I got to pay taxes on the dollar. If I make $1 in my life insurance, I don't pay taxes on it. Second, creditors cannot sue me and take money from my life insurance. You go through a divorce, whatever the case might be, nobody can touch your life insurance money. Guess what? Your savings account is subject to 50-50 split. Your business is subject to 50-50 split. Anybody, your house, that equity you're building in your house, it's 50-50. I could put a lien and take it. Equity. How is that generational? So I started thinking hard about all this messaging that we're getting from the banks, the media, the government, all this. I'm like, wait a minute, these don't make any sense. Man, I'm from Nigeria. I'm an Igbo. Stop lying to me. I had to get the wake up, the come to Jesus wake up call. I said, no. So the first thing I did, I got rid of all my securities license. I said, no. I'm going to cut off all this nonsense messaging I'm getting. Let's sit down and watch what the wealthy people and research these wealthy families and see where they're putting their money. Wherever they put their money, I'm putting my money in it. Whatever they're doing, I'm going to do. I started looking at the way they put money in. Warren Buffett puts a lot of money in life insurance, but he doesn't do life insurance. You know, when I say life insurance, when I talk about he puts money in life insurance, a lot of people don't know life insurance also has investments called life settlement. Most people are not even familiar with that. Financial advisors don't even know what that is. But that is life insurance like real estate. It's like real estate. The only difference is it's on your life. Chukwu, are you a big time real estate guy? You invest heavily in real estate. Let me ask you a question. If you buy a property today for $200,000, would the bank just loan you, give you $200,000? Or would they ask you to get insurance to protect that property in case the property burns down?
Yes, there's always insurance.
There's always insurance and taxes. Think about that for a second. The question to you now is, if you make $50,000 a year income, how much insurance do you have on that amount of money? What I do is I go to the insurance company. I say, listen, I make $50,000 a year. I need to protect this $50,000 for the next 10 years. Can you give me life insurance for $500,000? Insurance company say, yeah, let's evaluate your life. And they look at your health, everything, and they come back and say, we could cover you for $500,000 on your life. In case you die, we'll pay you money. We'll pay your children money. They'll get a check for $500,000 because you died before 10 years. So if you died the next day, they're cutting your family a check for $500,000 tax-free. But in the meantime, depending on the type of insurance you have, you could buy term insurance, which is just temporary, or you could buy a permanent insurance, which is the one that builds cash. Yes, it costs more than renting because term insurance is renting. You're renting the property. You're renting the $500,000. So it's cheaper Just like if you rent an apartment, it's less expensive than buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
But most of us do home ownership because we're like, I want to build equity in my house. I want to leave my house for my children. Not realizing if I have $100,000 equity in my house, I'll ask you this same question.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that 100,000 can I get from the bank if I have equity?
They usually loan you maybe 80% of your equity in your house.
And how easy is it
Very
to
hard.
get?
Very hard.
Folks, you see, he didn't even let me finish. He already gave me the answer, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? If I have $100,000 equity in my life insurance, guess how much I could get? I could get up to 90% with no questions asked, no credit check, no income verification, none of that. And I could continue taking money to do other things and buy other assets fast. So that's where I park my money, in life insurance. I use it, I park money in there just in case I mess around and die, just in case your house burns down. We don't plan for our house to burn down, right? But we have insurance on it. And we're paying homeowners insurance every day, every month, every year. And there's never been a house in the neighborhood. Same thing with our life insurance. What is your value? How much value are you putting on your life? There's so many people I've met, especially our people. And this is why I'm so passionate about educating the African community and the Black community, because we make so much money. We come to America, we work hard. We're the hardest working people. Some of us have 2-3 jobs.
Right.
We have businesses doing very well, but U.S. government makes money off of taxes. America has, folks, let me give you this. They have so many ways for you to come into America. So many ways. We didn't know this when we came, because we came, like we sneaked in. I sneaked in. I didn't know there was so many ways to come to America when I came. Now that I'm in here, I'm letting you know there's so many ways to come to America legally. Legally, America said come. You know why? Because they want you to pay taxes. You work, you pay taxes. When you die, you pay taxes.
Right.
And guess what? That's the most expensive tax, because when people die, guess how much that tax is? 70%. Because many of us Africans, when we come to America, we don't even have a simple will. Talk less of a trust in place. We own all these assets in our name. When you die, everything in your name is subject to estate tax. And most people don't realize that. Some people do, I always tell folks, listen, instead of doing a prenuptial agreement, set up a trust, the right type of trust. Trust lasts forever. Prenup don't last forever, especially when you have money. For the single ladies making money, there's a lot of men that are gold diggers too, because I've seen men that's asking for alimony. So you got to, tap in. My master class is coming on the 17th of this month. Get in the master class. It does cost money. Listen, I know you talked about people pay to book appointment. It wasn't like that before, folks. But today, I need to because I allow people to come in my world. I talk to everyone. But at the end of the day, I want people that are serious. I don't want tacky, because I'm not interested. Because I'm dealing with Black people. I cut off all my hair. I have gray hair because dealing with Black folks. So if you're serious, you come in my room and we'll talk. You got to pay to meet with me. But I promise you one thing, you're going to get value out of what we talk about. And the next step is for you to start using it.
Thank you very much, sir. And yes, Mr. Douglas has actually written a book, Creating Generational Wealth. And towards the end of this session, I know you have to run in like 14 minutes, so we'll be mindful of your time. We're going to talk about your new book that is coming. But I have this burden to ask you this question. If you were given an opportunity to start it all over again, right? You're coming to America, you only have like $1,000 in your pocket, right? And this opportunity to start it again with the knowledge that you have. Because I know some people in my audience today, your current state is their future state, what they are dreaming to be in, right? So, and they are making 80,000, 100,000 a year. How would you map out your life to see that you get to a place of financial independence as quick as possible?
Man, if the knowledge I have today I had when I first started, man, it would be a totally different ballgame. But here's the deal, folks. Everything requires patience. Like I said, it's not about how much money you make. You can make 80,000, you can make 100 million. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the key is this. Where are you parking your money? Does it have holes in it? Right? You got to find the right vehicle. And building wealth is not about, oh, I need to find the right investment. Because people come to me, well, I got $20,000, I got $50,000. What can I do with it? I'm like, how did you get the 50,000? Because just because you have a lump sum money, now don't get me wrong, I do have places we could make it grow, but the whole key is discipline, right? Is discipline. You got to keep adding money to that money. Money grows faster when you keep adding to it. I'll give you an example. Now I'm sharing some of the things that I'm planning on training on my mastermind, my
Mm-hmm.
master class.
Mm-hmm.
You're like getting it for free now,
Thank you,
man.
sir. Thank you.
So here's the deal, right? Every time I pay off a debt, and I'm going to show examples of that. Okay, I'll give you. So I have a one of my offices that I shut down, right? And the money that I was paying towards that office space, I redirected it into an insurance policy to continue to grow. If I pay off a car, and I don't pay off cars fast like everybody does. No, no, no. I don't make extra payment on no debt.
Mm.
I finance whatever it is, I finance for the longest term possible. I like to get, if they could give me 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, I'll take it. I finance it for the longest term. Why is that? The reason is lower payment. For example, if you make $1,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
let's just use $1,000 a month, that's your income. And you want to buy this cup, and this cup costs $500.
Mm-hmm.
You have two choices. First off, your $1,000 a month, yes, you could pay $500 for this cup, or you could finance it. Because if he pays $500 for this cup, but remember, you also have a rent to pay, you have utilities to pay, you have all that. So by the time you pay off all those regular payment, you don't have $500 to buy this cup. So the only other choice you have is to finance this cup. So now, if I finance this cup for $500 and I want to finance it, using that as an example, folks, and they give me two choices. One choice is they say, okay, if you buy this cup and you finance it for 5 years, your monthly payment will be $20 a month. Okay, that's one option. The second option, but you're going to pay this amount of interest after that pay. So you pay the bank in the end of 5 years. Let's just say you give them an additional $200.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's one option. The second option is I could finance it for 8 years and pay $5 a month, but I'm going to pay the bank $400 instead of $200. Now, a traditional regular person will say, well, $200 versus $400. I'm going to pay them for 200. I don't want to pay 400. Let me just finance it for 5 years. But here's the mistake they just made. Here's the deal. I could have taken the extra $15 and put in a compounding interest account over that same time frame of 8 years, and I'll make more money than the bank. Instead of me counting the bank's money, I want to count my money.
Mm-hmm.
See, at the end of the day, we are so focused on counting somebody else's money instead of counting our own money.
Right.
So I rather finance it for 8 years. They're giving me their money, and they said, take your time. Just pay us $5 every month for the next 8 years. Mm-hmm. Some of us loan money to people and we don't even charge them interest, and they don't never even pay us back. And then we're worried about a bank that says, listen, take your time. Please don't rush. Now, remember, I'm only making $1,000 a month income. $5 versus $20. Big difference. A lot of people don't save because what happens? They've spent all their money. They're giving it all away to the banks. Banks don't want your money. They make money loaning money out. Banks do not make money keeping money in the bank account. They hate the money in their bank account. That's why they always beg. You know how much I get solicitation every time from a bank? Please, you want a loan? Here's a loan. Here's this at a low interest rate. Because they know I have money and I got credit. Give me money quick. My business, I get business credit. I have personal credit. All this. You just got to take the time and learn the system, but work with someone that understands it.
Right. Right. This is great. This is great. So we're gonna need information about your masterclass. If you can send it across to me, I'll send it to my email chain. So hopefully people will pick interest in that. But I want to share with my community that what he's sharing has a whole lot of value. At some point in time, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, and they are talking about how to pay down your mortgage within 7 to 10 years. And after meeting with Douglas, I mean, my mindset changed, So I have this idea of paying down my mortgage, the whole concept of ownership, owning your house and everything. And my interest rate is like 2.8%, right? So, but I just want to own, right? So I came up with the idea of paying additional 20,000 into paying down the mortgage and getting more equity. And then when researching, I read Douglas's book, researched on YouTube. I was like, wow, that's actually a very, very wrong mindset. That instead of doing that, I could actually pack that 20,000 into a life insurance policy. Guess what? After that 10 years, so if I was paying 20,000 into my mortgage, lowering my mortgage, that is dead money. The money cannot grow, it cannot do anything, right? But if I put it in a life insurance, it's accruing 5 to 7% and growing over time. Within the space of that 10 years, I might have like north of 350,000 just in my account, and then I can decide to, if at all I still have any mortgage in my, house, I can write one check and pay off the whole house and still have some more money remaining. So these are really life changing valuable principles that I want you all to know. You have to learn the money game to master it, right? So Mr. Douglas, I know we are approaching the hour here. I want you to share with my community how we can get in touch with you. How can we connect with you? You have a new book that is coming out. We're excited for that. I've already subscribed to paid to be in the waiting list for that. Can't wait to read it. So, how do we connect with you to make sure that this wealth of information keeps coming to us?
Yeah, definitely. So you could go on Instagram. I am Douglas Eze. You'll see the verification check mark on there, and just hit a follow, send me a message, and say, hey, I saw you on this podcast, and then just be watch that, and then on YouTube, go on YouTube. I have Douglas Eze on YouTube. Just you see me on there. But most importantly, you could go straight if you're ready to take action and start moving forward and get your mindset, right? Just go to buildwealthwithdouglas.com, buildwealthwithdouglas.com. And yes, my book, Preserving Generational Wealth, is coming out. The first book was Creating Generational Wealth. This one here, if you've not gotten a copy of it, if you go on my book website, actually on creating generational wealth.info website, you pick up this book from there. I'm going to throw in this other book for you. It's called The Smart Retirement. It's written by one of my good friends, Matt Zagula. He wrote this. I'll give it to you for free, with the two books. So you get two for the price of one. But Preserving Generational Wealth is coming out because I saw. So here's why I wrote the first book, Creating Generational. Everybody talks about creating generational wealth. I'm like, wait a minute. But how do you keep it? Because just because I start a business doesn't mean that's generational wealth. Just because I buy a house and real estate doesn't mean that's generational wealth. There's certain things the wealthy are doing. They set up other entities to protect it. So I said, let me write a book on creating generational wealth, on the things you need to have in place to make sure you keep the wealth in the family, right? So that at least it doesn't escape the family. So the second book coming out in January, we're making some more. So it's my shoot date is January, but it might be February because I have to do a voiceover recording on it too. I said, what about preserving generational wealth? Because you've created it, how do you preserve it? Because again, I have children, I have 8 now, has my 8. I got 2 biological, from my ex-wife, and then I have my new wife's daughter, so that's mine. My brother's kids, I have 2 brothers that died. One died in that Sosoliso plane crash in
Oh,
Nigeria, and one died of
wow.
stroke, yeah, and died. So they have kids. They have 4 kids between both of them. I take care of all of them.
Wow.
2 I brought from Nigeria, and they're here with me. So, but the key is, and then I have a son that lives in Canada, and he also has a son. So now I have a grandson there. I talk about them in the book. But here's the deal: I'm like, wait a minute, I have all these people, especially all the females.
Hmm.
I'm like, man, how do I make sure this thing preserves? So I start teaching in the book how you could make sure you identify, because being in this industry for a long time, I see families that leave wealth to their children and they leave it to the wrong child. A lot of times we as human beings, we're emotionally, we make decisions based on emotion. And that's not, this is, no matter how you see it, relationship. You have business relationship, you have family relationship.
Right.
Always remember, the key word is relationship. So you got to make sure you identify, because everybody is different. Each of my children are different,
Right.
and they handle money differently. I know one that just blows the money. I know one that saves the money. I know one that understands, that just makes sure that her money is right. So I'm paying attention to each one of them to see how they're dealing with money, because I'm about to leave them all this wealth. How are they going to handle it? So I also have an entity, which I talk about in the Preserving Generational Wealth, that when I go and my wife goes, because we ain't going to be here forever.
Right.
Now, an entity is going to come in, which is the trust that I talk about in the book, and they're going to continue that generation. That's where you hear trust fund babies and all that stuff. But you got to, get the pre-order, so that you could be on because there's other things I'm going to offer later, for the people that are pre-ordering the book and stuff like that. I like to give away stuff, because again, at the end of the day, enjoy your money. See, I'm not that financial guy that tell you to cut down on your lifestyle. Oh, reduce your lifestyle. Don't eat, don't drink coffee, don't travel, don't go on vacation. Why are you buying business class? Are you okay? I work hard for my money. I need to enjoy the lifestyle. I don't care. People sometimes watching social media and people say, Warren Buffett he still drives the same car. Idiot. Have you ever seen him on the commercial airline? He has his own private plane.
Right. That's true.
He wants to drive an old car doesn't mean I'm going to drive an old car.
That's true.
If I want to drive the car, I want to drive the car I want to drive. I work hard. That's my money.
Right.
And your money.
Right.
The key is to make sure you have something in place to replenish the money for your future person.
Thank you very much. This has been very, very impactful. In fact, I want to bring you back, sir. I
apologize, because I thought this was about for 4:00. We have an event. My wife is already.
Yeah, we have to let you go. So my personal assistant has already uploaded the links to his page, Douglas Eze, Instagram, and also buildingwealthwithdouglas.com. That's the website where you're going to find the book. So I'm going to reach out to you, Mr. Douglas, to gather all this information to blast to my community here. But we do appreciate your time. Hopefully we're going to bring you again, because I don't think we cracked nothing today. But yeah, we do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And everyone that joined, thank you for joining today. And we'll be in communication and in contact via our email. Thank you all. Bye-bye.